at it as a process. We see the larger arc of development on the levels of life below us. Below us, there are levels of still or inanimate. There's the vegetative level, there is the animal level, and there is the human level that we live on. Unfortunately, this level is just a complex animal. And in order to be able to see what is happening to us and the programming and the instinctive level and the larger scope of what's happening to us in our lives, not to see just a single cross-section where we don't understand the plan or the vector, the way in which things are progressing towards the goal. When we look at this on the human level, we can't understand. We can't pull ourselves up by our own hair to some higher level. We have to be able to view it on a higher level, which the Kabbalists call the speaking level. Speaking level of man is where he begins to be part of the upper system and view the whole system of guidance provided by the Creator. That one force that moves us through two prongs of through the will to receive, that moves us, attracts us towards something good and repels us from something bad. If we can see it from this level above, we stop seeing the events in our lives as isolated chunks and try to name them at a place in time and space where we really have no perception of the reason for anything. So what do we do to be able to get ourselves into this higher state? How do we see from this higher point of view? Well, we can't do it ourselves. We can only do it with the aid of what is already there. We have to be able to sense what's there, and then we can become like it. Now, remember that the force of evolution is just the development of desires. And this system of upper light has arranged that we would be moved along through these desires until we came to desire precisely the right thing. But because we are involved in our development in an unconscious way, that is, not by our will are we brought into this, and not by our will do we proceed in this, until we come to the point where the awakening occurs in a person. The awakening is arranged by these events that we call good and bad. In other words, our desires continue to be developed and change so that our question becomes greater. And each of these, what we consider to be blows, make us ask the question on a deeper and deeper level. What is the real cause of suffering? Why am I suffering? And how can I stop suffering? And this force of development moves us along unconsciously until we will not settle for anything else but the answer to this question. Because the answer to the question can only come from the higher level that guides the system that makes us feel as if there are good and bad events. So now that this conscious, tangible need has happened inside the sensation of the person that no other desire can replace, only the answer to this question, this conscious, tangible need, now the answer has a place to go. A person can receive it. But in order to know why we're suffering, we have to know what's good and what's bad. And we know that we can't feel that or measure it against a sliding scale. It can't be from within the will to receive. It has to be against something that doesn't change. And this, we know, is the quality of the Creator, which always and only gives its unconditional bestowal. And the quality of the creature is to receive, the will to receive for the self alone. It's the measurement of the contrast between these two qualities that begin to give us a sense of where we are. Because the only thing there is to feel and to sense is the Creator. The question is, how do I sense it? What do I sense it as? We live in a sea of light. That means we are always receiving delight into our vessel, our kli. This is our will to receive. And the upper light is constantly filling us with delight, that is, with a sensation which is actually a sensation of the light itself. It is always the Creator, except that it depends on what we say it is. It depends on what the dressing is, what we call this thing that's happening. All events of our life are sent to us in a way that we sense them directly as direct light. But if we feel them that way, that means that we feel them through the will to receive, and we don't know why they're being given. What we seek to do is to feel the thought inside of it. That is, what is this quality here? What is the quality of bestowal that is the Creator's intention behind giving to us in this event? How is this connected to the force of development that is bringing us to fulfillment? If we can understand and get a sensation of this, then we understand the event and we also rise to that level. And all that we seek to do in the events of life is to justify the Creator. This is what a righteous man is, what a tzaddik is. It's one who, regardless of the events of life, feels the thought behind the giving of the event, the benevolent force of the Creator's guidance. And only the difference between what we feel in our kli and what the Creator's thought is, that is, what our thought is, compared to what the Creator's thought is, this is the source of suffering. This contrast between my nature, my intention on reception of the light, and the Creator's intention on the bestowing of the light, this discrepancy causes me discomfort, suffering, and so on. This quality of bestowal, the quality of giving of the upper light, is the general law of the universe, and everything in the universe follows from that. All laws, inner and outer laws of nature, all follow from that. And it's incumbent on all life to find a balance, a homeostasis between what is outside and what's inside. So the degree to which we don't keep this law of life, that is, become like it, our world and all aspects of it suffer. Not just the man, but his surroundings, his world, his country, his family, all of reality. One of the ways of attracting the upper light that will allow us to raise to a level where we can begin to understand and sense the Creator is by the study of Kabbalistic texts. The only reason to study a Kabbalistic text is to attract the light that reforms, not for any intellectual knowledge, but for a transformation that happens within. As we begin to read this text, bring your question, the thing that you most need to know. Remember it and bring it into the reading. It doesn't matter what you understand intellectually. It only matters what you need and what you feel. This article is called There's None Else Beside Him, and it was spoken by Bala Salam, and it was recorded by his son, Rabash.